Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the NFL Playoff Challenge on NFL.com. Inside today's video, we'll be breaking down my strategy from my years of playing this challenge on how I believe you're going to be able to win your group the best strategy to win, as well as talking about my NFL Playoff Challenge group. So we're going to start off talking about that. My group is called Notorious Space Fantasy. We already actually have 11 users in there. I've been holding this for at least the last 2 or 3 years. It's always a fun time. We had over 150 users play in it last year. If you want to join, you could just type in right here Notorious Space Fantasy or click on the link in the video description down below or in the pinned comment. All you got to do is have an NFL.com login, you sign in, and you can join up on here. Just click on the playoff challenge up top. This group, the winner will receive a $25 Amazon gift card. So if you want to win that, all you got to do is after you win, be able to prove to me that you actually won, and then I will send the Amazon card your way. So again, join up on my group Notorious Fantasy, and if you find this video to be helpful, please make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button down below. It would help me out a ton. So in terms of my strategy to win the NFL Playoff Challenge, I believe what you want to be doing is selecting all of the players from the 2 teams that you believe are going to go toe-to-toe in the Super Bowl in Arizona. I don't think the best strategy is to take a quarterback from one AFC team, take a running back from another AFC team, because while that might help you at the beginning, the way that points work in this contest, you want to have a team with the multipliers at the end once you get to the Super Bowl, because as you can see, if you have players that stay in your lineup for multiple weeks, you get the multiplier. So in week 1, there are no multipliers in the wild card round, but once you get to the divisional round, if all your players are still there, you get a 2 times bonus. In the conference championship, you get a 3 times bonus, and in the Super Bowl, you get a 4 times bonus. So if you just go ahead and pick one team from the AFC and one team from the NFC, you'll be able to have that 4 times bonus on every single player on your team, as long as those are the 2 teams that go to the Super Bowl. Now, I posted a video yesterday talking about my Super Bowl predictions. We went game by game through the playoffs. I told you guys who I thought would win. Now, if you want to go ahead and watch that, pause this right now and then go ahead and go back to yesterday's video and watch that. If you don't care, maybe you've already seen it. My Super Bowl pick is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles come out of the NFC, and I got the Cincinnati Bengals coming out of the AFC. Now, as many people know who watch my videos or have watched my videos in the past, I am a diehard Dolphins fan. I hope that it's the Dolphins versus the Eagles or whoever they end up playing in the Super Bowl, but I don't think that is what's going to end up happening. So looking here at the quarterback position, you can see on the left the ownership percentage or the start percentage of each player. So Joe Burrow is actually the 2nd most popular quarterback. Jalen Hurts is the 4th most popular. Now, obviously, some people might be nervous to start players that aren't actually playing this week, but you do get that 2 times multiplier next week, which I believe makes it worth it. Personally, though, I am going to go with Joe Burrow because I think that he's going to be able to be in matchups all playoffs long, that if he makes it to the Super Bowl, there are going to be a bunch of high-scoring games. Now, maybe the game against the Ravens ends up being a little bit boring, but as they get into the divisional round, the conference championships, there are potential matchups with 1 million points potentially happening in those games. So I'm going to go with my guy, Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty at running back here. Now, again, obviously, if you disagree with me, you think that the Bengals versus the Eagles is not the Super Bowl matchup, then if you like the Chiefs, go with Patrick Mahomes, or if you like the Bills, go with Josh Allen, right? I hope that this video does a lot of explaining. I hope that you understand. I think the other team that I like out of the NFC is the 49ers. So if you want to go with the 49ers as well, something like that, I don't think that's very weird. So obviously Joe Mixon is the best running back out of the group of these 2 teams. I really do think Joe Mixon is much better player than Miles Sanders. So obviously we're going to secure Joe Mixon here as my RB1. The RB number 2 here is going to be Mr. Miles Sanders. Now, if I was playing in a contest that maybe had 10,000 people and you're playing for some huge prize, then maybe you would want to go ahead and get cute, and maybe you don't play Miles Sanders. You actually go with Kenneth Gainwell, or instead of Joe Mixon, you go with Samaje Perine. But I'm just trying to beat 100 plus of you guys, hopefully, if you join using the link in the video description or in the pinned comment. So I'm going to go with Miles Sanders here. Keep it simple, stupid, as they say. So now we need 2 wide receivers, a tight end, kicker, and a defense. Now, this is where things get very interesting because both the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles have some of the best wide receiver cores in the NFL. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They also have Tyler Boyd, who is an incredibly talented player. The Eagles have Devontae Smith. They have A.J. Brown. Now, I wouldn't consider Quez Watkins to be in the same realm as a guy like Tyler Boyd, but ultimately, he's pretty fucking solid as well and has big upside. So here we are going to go ahead and go with 1 wide receiver from each team. We're going to go with Jamar Chase here for the Cincinnati Bengals, and then we're going to go with A.J. Brown for the Philadelphia Eagles. T. Higgins did end up getting banged up in last week's game up against the Ravens. If I knew he was fully healthy, honestly, you could go with a Cincinnati Bengals onslaught and go with the double wide receiver of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but here we're going to go with A.J. Brown. Again, if you are in a bigger contest, I would consider looking more heavily at the start percentage because, again, here, A.J. Brown started in 19% of these things, and if we scroll all the way down here, Devontae Smith is only started in 2% of them, so if you want to get a little bit cute, I don't think it's really absurd to think that Devontae Smith could outscore A.J. Brown by the time we get to the Super Bowl. So the next position here is going to be the tight end. Here we are going to go with Dallas Goedert. I think Hayden Hurst is a decent player. I don't think that Hayden Hurst is necessarily some garbage can, but ultimately, to me, in my opinion, and based upon the stats, Dallas Goedert is one of the most efficient tight ends in all of the National Football League. I think there's more of an outside shot that Hayden Hurst outscores Dallas Goedert, and even if there wasn't a multiplier, which there is a multiplier, there's still a chance that even in one last game, Dallas Goedert eviscerates the score that Hayden Hurst could put up. Next up, we move to the kicker position here. This is kind of just a toss-up. You got Evan McPherson for the Bengals and Jake Elliott for the Eagles. I'm just going to go with Evan McPherson. Ultimately, you could go with another kicker. I'm just going to go with Evan McPherson because I think he is the better kicker out of the two. And then for the defense, we're going to go with the Eagles. The Eagles have a far superior defense to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Eagles' path to the Super Bowl more than likely involves less games where you got to play up against, well, it's 100% true that you're not going to have to play up against fucking Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen to get there. Teams that could absolutely destroy the Bengals, where the Bengals might go fucking negative up against those teams. So we are going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles here. I just think the NFC is a little bit safer in terms of taking the defense from there. So again, we are going with the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl. If you don't think this is what the Super Bowl is going to be, then you can go with different players. Now, I might end up adjusting this lineup slightly by the time we get to kickoff on Saturday, but I'm not going to change the teams. I am content. I've already placed a wager on the Cincinnati Bengals to win the Super Bowl, to win the AFC. I fully believe that is what is going to happen. And I'm going to go with my gut feeling, Bengals, Eagles for the Super Bowl. Let me know down below in the comments section if you have any questions or if you have any issue joining our group. Again, the group is Notorious Space Fantasy, linked in the video description or in the pinned comment. If you win, I will send you a $25 Amazon gift card. I love all of you guys. I hope you'll have a great rest of your guys' day. And let me know down below also, who's winning the Super Bowl? Who do you think is going to hoist the Lombardi in February? So thank you guys all so much for watching. I love you guys all. Have a great day. And as always, goodbye.